and Penny, a tale of two vigilantes and their conflicting supporters. I thought this was an important story to pair with one another, the Luigi and Penny story, because as you know, the way libtards work, they advocate for someone that premeditatedly kills somebody because they view the person that they killed as deserving, but they will attack and want to condemn someone like Penny who actually defended himself and others. And it just goes to show you how lunatic and demonic these people are because sure, you can argue that the CEO of that healthcare company is a part of an entire industry that costs the lives and the suffering of millions, but you can see, for an example, these Negroes in Oakland or in other cities throughout the United States as that very same, by their logic, deserving of death kind of people. You know, the people that terrorize or make uncomfortable and kill thousands of people on a yearly basis and affecting the lives of millions. You know, when you talk about food deserts, when you talk about uh, stores leaving cities and leaving them financially crippled, where more often than not, you can lay that blame at the foot of these, let's say, diverse teens and adults that regularly like to ransack these stores and terrorize people. You know, and again, not to mention, the murder, the death that they bring. And so, based on their logic, people like a Luigi should arm themselves and premeditate ending the lives of all of these people that caused the harm that the CEO of United Healthcare was accused of. And I can guarantee you their stories would be different if that United Healthcare CEO had all of the credentials and the history that he has with that company. But let that CEO not been white and let's say a black woman with a family instead. You think these people would be singing the same song and dance that they're singing now? No. So it still ultimately comes down to race. Because again, if that CEO was a black female with a husband and kids, and it was shown that she supports the Democrat Party and most recently supported Kamala Harris, and she was killed in that same way for those same reasons, it'll be a different song and dance happening. And so ultimately, it still comes down with being okay with killing somebody because they're white. The same way they feel about Daniel Penny not being able to defend himself or others because, well, he was a white guy doing it. So it shouldn't have been allowed. So as much as these two men are most definitely different because what Daniel Penny did was defend himself and others, and what Luigi did was, premeditate murder. Ultimately, the stories become the same. It's about condemning to death certain people, and it mainly has to do with their so-called race. But if you change the races, it's a different song and dance. If the CEO was a different race, or if the target or the reasoning for the target was based on different reasonings. Because again, these very same people that claim to be against what healthcare holders have to contend with. These very same people don't care about the lives of those various healthcare clients when their lives are being put at risk every day, living in a soft on crime or living in a soft on crime state. And in a lot of ways, you can see the country as a whole being soft on crime. I mean, they're far more soft in general than they should be. The way that it should work, criminals should fear committing crimes in the United States. They shouldn't be comfortable in committing them, and there should be no liberal organizations comfortable with the knowledge that they can try to profit off of law enforcement doing their job wrong. When people talk about going to other countries like a Singapore, like a Thailand, various countries throughout the Arab world, in Eastern Europe, the idea of committing crime there brings fear. You know, El Salvador, thanks to their young president, has become one of those places where now people fear committing crime there because they know it won't be tolerated. But the United States, they don't have that reputation. Even though Negroes will talk about sundown towns, you still see them very active in those supposed sundown towns or states, which is why you have so much crime that still takes place amongst Negroes and towards other groups of people by Negroes in supposedly red states like Alabama, like a Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Still very active there, despite claiming, you know, the Klan owns those states. Because that's basically what people are saying. Liberals specifically, what they're saying when they're talking about red states or sundown towns. They're trying to make you believe that Klansmen patrolling the streets, and lynching random black people. When in reality, it's a bunch of hood boogers terrorizing the streets, which has resulted in, more and more white folks, run into the mountains or trying to get their own cities, detached from the crime field havens that too many so-called black people support. But anyway, that's what was brought to mind when I was thinking about, you know, these two vigilantes and their conflicting supporters. And mainly the conflict comes from the people that support Luigi but condemn Penny.